Hello. Thanks for joining us again on the channel. I've always been curious about this one, and now that a friend picked one up, we can finally talk about it. His experience, start to finish. Quick note before we begin, there's a discount link in the description and the top comment if you want to check it out. Now, let's not waste any more time and jump right into the details.
To get things started, let's hear from our first reviewer.
This reviewer starts by explaining that while her husband bought this printer for his home office, she's had plenty of chances to use it and has come to love it. However, she is quick to warn that the initial setup process was a complete nightmare. Despite having moderate computer experience, our reviewer struggled for 3 days to install the necessary software on a computer without a CD drive. The downloadable files from the manufacturer's website repeatedly gave her error messages, and she admits that when it finally did work, she had no idea what she did differently to make it successful. Once past that initial headache, however, the experience has been incredibly smooth. The client highlights the borderless printing feature, noting that the quality is excellent right to the very edge of the paper. A massive upgrade from their previous device is the scanner. They were both blown away by the clarity and quality of the scanned images, a sentiment that extends to the copier function as well. The ink system is another major win, as refilling the tanks is straightforward, and the sheer amount of ink provided will undoubtedly save them a bundle over the life of the machine. The only real drawback mentioned involves scanning multi-page documents. Her husband was disappointed that you can only scan one page at a time, with no feeder for a stack of papers. The reviewer is quick to point out that this was their own oversight for not reading the product description more carefully. Overall, her recommendation is without hesitation. She even loves the ability to print remotely while being over 100 miles away from home, concluding that her only regret is not having bought this printer years ago.
Cool. Let's uncover what our next reviewer has to say.
This reviewer begins by describing a long and frustrating history with home printing. Our client used to print a significant volume of documents and photos, only to find themselves stuck in an endless cycle of purchasing expensive ink cartridges. The cost of new ink often exceeded the original price of the printer itself, a recurring issue across several devices they had owned. Beyond the expense, there was the sheer inconvenience of unexpectedly running out of a specific color mid-job, an all too familiar scenario that always seemed to happen at the worst possible moment. After some research, this client discovered a new type of printer that promised to solve these problems. While it handles nearly any typical home printing task with ease, from school assignments and work-from-home documents to family photo reprints, it is not designed for large-scale professional jobs. What it does well, delivering clean and quick results. However, its most remarkable feature is its incredible ink efficiency. Despite a change in lifestyle that led to less frequent printing, our reviewer has been using this machine regularly for a remarkably long time and has still not depleted the initial supply of ink. The longevity of the ink is so impressive that our client admits to occasionally checking the ink tanks, almost in disbelief that they are still not empty. The printer continues to produce high-quality images and text, all while consuming a minimal amount of ink. While the initial cost for this printer is higher than for a standard model, the reviewer feels the investment is completely justified. For the convenience of refilling ink so rarely and the freedom from the constant worry and expense of cartridges, this client gives the product their wholehearted recommendation, considering it a genuinely fantastic value for anyone fed up with the old way of printing.
Alright, let's find out what our next reviewer has to share.
This reviewer found this all-in-one printer to be generally adequate, possessing standard functionalities you'd expect, like wireless connectivity, SD card compatibility, and cloud printing options. Print quality is decent overall. Our reviewer has successfully printed photos and digital art on glossy paper, achieving satisfying results. However, they noted the printing speed is somewhat slow, particularly for higher quality prints. Though they can't compare the speed to other models, it's fine for everyday document printing. Regarding printer head clogging, this client was hoping this model would be less susceptible to this issue, but that wasn't the case. After just a month of inactivity, they experienced multiple clogged heads. Following a lengthy cleaning process, the problem was resolved, but it highlighted a common inkjet printer issue. The ink reservoir system is where this device shines. The reviewer appreciates being able to monitor ink levels, a welcome change from traditional cartridges that seem to dry up quickly. Though not a heavy user, they've found the ink lasts significantly longer. Refilling the reservoirs is straightforward, but the ink itself isn't necessarily cheaper. They are unsure about the overall cost-benefit, but they intend to explore third-party ink options when refills are needed. Other minor annoyances included issues with sending scanned documents from the printer to their computer, though initiating scans from the computer works fine. Firmware updates seem frequent. The user interface is functional but not particularly intuitive. The price point isn't ideal, but the reviewer is optimistic that the printer's longevity will justify the cost. If it lasts for years, they'll be happy. This device would have earned a higher rating if it were more affordable.
That's it for this one. If you found this helpful, tap that like button and subscribe for more. Got thoughts? Questions? Let's talk in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.